In this lesson, you will learn about the right mindset as a designer so you approach every design project in the right way. One time, I had a client who reached out to my company as he wanted to go redo his logo. He had quite a large e-commerce brand and felt his logo needed to be updated. Now, this is what's called self-prescribed clients. This is taken from the terminology self-prescribed medical patients, where people go on and buy over-the-counter medicines to treat some ailment without really knowing what's going on from a doctor. Often, design clients are self-prescribed. They don't understand graphic design, and they think of themselves as great creative directors when they really are not. However, your job as a designer is not to be an order taker, but to really understand what they say they need and why they say they need it. And then using design thinking, you want to understand, ideate, and implement great graphic design. So going back to that example that I was telling you about, this client came to us for a logo. I then interviewed him and I asked him why he needed us to redo this logo. So he explained that even though his products were selling fine, he didn't have many return customers and he felt his brand was not really well recognized. He wanted to create some iconic logo that would pop in the eyes of his customers and therefore get him more return customers. Now, from a design perspective, I knew my job was to then really explore his brand, to understand his target audience and see what design elements needed to be fixed, not just the logo, to help him get more loyal customers for his whole business. So instead of being an order taker, I told this client that we would have to go deeper in order to really fix this. So I started by researching his target audience on a deeper level. I then followed that up by understanding what his brand was all about and what it was supposed to represent for this target audience. So we ended up redoing his whole brand identity, which includes the logo, the colors of the brand, the fonts, and the style of the brand. And after this, we had to redo all the packaging to align it with his new brand look. Something that would have been just a redesigned logo if I'd been an order taker turned out to be a multiple five-figure project. As I went over at the beginning of the course, graphic design is not only an art, but it's also a science, and both together become a discipline. Graphic design is not just about making pretty images, but is rather a tool used to solve clients' problems. The sooner you understand this concept, the shorter your learning curve to becoming a successful designer will be. Design thinking is a strategic process that will help you come up with the inspiration needed and have less rejections or revisions from the clients. Now, in this lesson, we'll touch on the theory behind this design thinking so that you understand it. And then in the next lesson, I'm going to teach my simplified process to create designs that will connect with people with exercises for you to then follow. And this strategic design process is known as EDIPT: empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and then test. Now, there are a lot of layers to this process. However, what I'm going to teach you here is what you need to know for application. And if this sounds a bit advanced, it will become easier as we go through this. First, let's take a look at empathize. This means to understand and share the feelings of others. How are you supposed to create a design that will resonate with a target audience if you cannot understand their feelings, their views, their beliefs, and their emotions? Let's say a client wants to create a poster for his band, and his band is a heavy rock band, but you personally are into pop music or classical music, but definitely not rock music. So first, before you even start coming up with ideas, you need to get in this target audience's shoes, see life through their eyes. For example, it's not very uncommon for a man to start a health and wellness brand that often targets women. So if you were to only ask the owner for who their target audience is, he will give you some shallow understanding of them with too many assumptions, and this can lead to a design job that doesn't connect with their target audience. So this first step is all about getting your feet wet, researching that target audience. And nowadays, it's the easiest time ever to be able to research pretty much any target audience, which is a group of people with shared beliefs. Google them. Search blogs, read about them. search on YouTube videos, watch them. Go to groups on Facebook, read the posts. Look at the individual profiles and see what common beliefs they have and even interview them as needed. Get yourself immersed in their world. Don't be judgmental, just empathize with them. In the example of rock and roll, I Googled rock and roll demographics and found out 77% of these people are more likely to be aged 55 and above, and 33% are more likely to be between 35 to 54. Rock and roll has a specific style that will resonate with this target audience. So if you were to search rock and roll on Google Images, you will see some sense of their style, their colors, their fonts used, like these ones. What would people like? Well, let's dig in on Instagram, find some accounts, see what posts get the most likes, read the comments. Next is define. This means to describe. This is where we gather all the information and we analyze it, looking for patterns. In the example of a rock band, the second step under define is executed by summarizing this target audience as to who they are. In summary, the rock and roll target audience is 55 and above, with the minority of the target audience including those 35 and above. This target audience went through the 60s, 70s, and 80s. They're attracted to the colors black and red with grungy fonts and textured designs. They don't like things perfectly clean and minimalistic. They like the classic rock and roll bands and dislike anything to do with current pop culture. Next, we ideate, which means to think and form ideas. Here's where the brainstorming process becomes. Here's usually when pen and pencil sketches work better. All ideas are good ideas, and this is where a lot of creatives get stuck because they start invalidating and suppressing their ideas before even putting them out there. Think outside the box. There aren't any bad ideas here. The more you ideate, the more ideas will come out. Then we prototype, which means creating designs inside the computer. Here's where you submit your designs, where you will get the client's feedback and where revisions are done. Then is testing. Now, the test phase is usually done by the client putting your design out into the world, and this is where the target audience will either engage with this design or not. Sometimes some clients want to test the design ideas before they even implement it to their company, and that's totally fine. They take a logo, they survey it to their ideal audience, and then they receive feedback from this audience, and it's really priceless information. But you will need to ensure that you take this extra time involved into consideration when you're pricing the project. And this is it. You just went through the whole design thinking process. See, it wasn't that difficult, right? So in the next lesson, I'm going to teach you how to execute this in the most smoothest way possible, and I'll provide the templates that you need to get it done from A to B. I'll see you there.